Where the f are those tigers at? I don't see him. Oh, there he is. He's orange as f in a green environment. So easy.
Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of my guide. But before we get started, I just want to say that usually, if you guys watch my other videos, usually I kind of just record what I do and then commentate over it and give tutorials on that. But specifically for colors and values, I bet you're seeing like the 40-minute long video down at the bottom right. For this, I kind of had to explain as I was going, so this is going to be a full recording of what I do, and it's still going to teach you, hopefully, about all these colors and stuff, but I'm just letting you know, rather than making it a short edited video, this is going to be the whole footage, so I hope you guys can learn at a steady pace. If you haven't, in the beginning of the video, before this part, you've probably noticed that one video by this other YouTuber, Anthony Jones. He made a great video describing or explaining his thoughts on colors and what kind of things you need to be wary about if you're, you know, fiddling around with these. So definitely check it out. It's not necessary, but I do hope that you guys check it out. He's pretty funny, and he teaches quite a lot about suck. So I hope you enjoy. Yeah. Morning, part 3. Let's get to it. So last time we had brightness and contrast, and we are gonna put in these front trees and stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna select these trees and rocks. I'm gonna go by here pretty quickly and search up in our effects brightness and contrast. And what you can do is you can drag and drop on here, and it does what it says. It adjusts brightness and contrast. But what we want, because this is the foreground, you know, they're closer, we want to darken it, darken the brightness, and we also want to lower the contrast just a little bit. Because when things are closer to the camera, they darken. So we're going to copy this brightness and contrast, and we're going to paste it on these other objects. So we'll do it on the second rock, and then we'll paste it onto these trees. And there we go. And the second thing you want to do with this is you want to go to your effects and presets, and you want to search up fast blur. Then you want to drag it onto one of these, and then you just adjust it a little bit. That's pretty good. So 3 is pretty good. And you can copy this. You can paste it on the rocks too. And then this is what you can get for your foreground objects. Because the camera's not focusing on that, it's focusing on Derek and Scythe over here, so we can have these blurred. Another thing I can mention is that when you're adjusting this number right here by scrolling left and right, you can hold Control to make it so you can be more precise, or you can hold Shift so you can be way more sensitive. So that's pretty neat. So we're done with the foreground objects. Now let's move on to the background. So I'm gonna get these trees here. So basically, because I copied and pasted these trees, they all look like the same color and all that. But if you look at other images and stuff, you'll notice that if there's like mountains or trees, the farther back the object is, it's got more of a whitish grayish tone on it because it's farther away, right? And then when it's closer to where you are, it's actually got more color and it's like kind of darker. So we're gonna do that same effect here on After Effects, and it's the same thing really. You just select the farthest tree you want. So I'm gonna select these ones. And I'm just going to drag brightness and contrast. Just gonna increase the brightness and then lower the contrast a little, I guess by 20. You can copy and paste it for the bottom trees too, since they're the same thing. And then that looks good. So we do it for the next one, and these are the middle ones. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep it where this is right now. No brightness and contrast. But for the more front ones, I'm gonna reduce the brightness and contrast. And we're doing this because it kind of gives a better taste on like the lighting and all that. You know, it's more dynamic, and that's something your eye really loves to see. Really loves to see the contrast between objects. That's why when you have like something in a dark room that's really bright, it's like, ooh, it's shining. So maybe, So yeah, this one should be like less brightness, but like a bit more contrast. That looks pretty good. So I got those two. So remember, if it's in a foreground object, it's more blurry and it's like darker and less brightness and more like faded. And if it's too far away, it's like brighter and less faded. And then if it's like in your focus and you want to have it like dark and like full of color. And I'm actually gonna adjust this floor here. This is just a personal thing I do. I kind of put drag and drop brightness and contrast on most things I can, because I just kind of like to adjust the brightness and contrast to what I think it looks nice. So like, for example, I'm not even looking at the 0 mark, I'm kind of just fiddling around with these to see which one looks, I guess, pretty nice, pretty normal. And it makes things look better. Even though it has a preset of what it is, you can always fiddle around with it and make it look the way you want. But personally, I just like things with more contrast. That's something that I like to see. And if you're watching this video, then that might be something you're aiming for too, so you know, just adjust to what you like. I like less brightness and more contrast. Now, next thing. I've got all these. Everything looks pretty nice. Better than the beginning. So, now we're ready to move on to the next step. I'm gonna click on Comp 2 over here, and I'm gonna drag and drop it onto, or no, not Comp 2. Whoops, that's not supposed to be there. Delete Comp 2. We're supposed to get Comp 1, which is the only composition you're supposed to have, and you're supposed to drag it in here. And this is like putting a symbol in another symbol. So you put a composition in another composition, and this is like now a video file kind of. And you can drag it, and it's 2D. So what we can do is we can go and add a mask. So we can right click on this layer, we can go to mask, or we can go to new mask. And if you don't know what a mask is, this yellow border here shows which area will be visible. And so that's what a mask is. A mask shows what can be visible inside the object, and you can move the borders around to your liking. And you can like bend the shapes and all that. So it's pretty nice. But what we're gonna do is, if you have a black background, so let's go ahead, make a new black solid, and just put it under the comp. And then we're gonna lock it. And we just go to Comp 1. We're gonna click on this drop down over here. Then we go to feather. We just adjust the feather, and then the borders, they'll get more black. So it gives you like, it's focusing on the center. It gives you that nice effect that fades out. So that'll be really good. It's an optional thing, so you don't have to have it. Another thing that we can do for composition, and I'm going to go through all the steps, I'm going to go through all these color things and effects that I use to adjust my final render. There's an effects here called curves, and you can drag and drop here, and you'll see this like little graph thing. If you move this up and down, you can, it's like kind of more saturation and brightness and all that if you move it upwards, and then when you move it downwards, it's like more darker. And you can make more than one point too, so you can do all this, and you just gotta get you just gotta experiment with it. So I guess I'm gonna adjust this a little bit up here. The more important thing is this drop down right here. We've got RGB, red, green, and blue. And alpha is transparency. But so what this is, it controls how much red you want in the image. So if I drag red like upwards, everything that's red is going to be more red. And if I drag it downwards, there's going to be like less red in the image. And you can do this for everything, all the other colors. You can just switch to the next one. So like if you want more green, you can do that, and then you can switch to less red. And with this, you can kind of build what kind of colors you want as a filter for your animation. So maybe I want less red, just a little bit. Maybe I want more blue, so I'm going to raise the blue a little. And now you can click on this box to like disable the effect, so you can see like what kind of changes you made. And I think that looks pretty good, because you can go for any kind of feeling you want, so I kind of want a cool feeling. So we'll leave that aside. Now we'll move on to, again, brightness and contrast. Oops. You can just search up brightness. And you can drag and drop here. And again, you just fiddle around with it. You know, just make like a slight change. Like, even if it was like four numbers or 5 number difference, that's still like quite a difference. So it's worth it in my opinion. And you can go back if you want, if you feel like you want to adjust something. You just experiment with it, you know, like go back and forth, see what kind of things you like. Yeah, like maybe I want less green. That looks pretty good actually. And then you'll never know what kind of things you'll find by accident. And that's kind of the thing, you just gotta fiddle around with it more. Just kind of be like, oh, maybe if I reduce this value it'll look this certain way. And kind of try for that scene you want to set up. So if we got brightness and contrast, we just adjust that a little. Then we go to glow. Glow is my favorite tool of them all. And you don't need glow, but if you know me, and if you've noticed this from my animations, like basically almost every animation has glow. And you know, either just a little bit of glow or a lot of glow. I just love it all. So this over here is like the threshold, so it's like only the, or no, my bad. If it's 100%, things that are like white or close to white are gonna glow. But if you have it at 0%, everything is gonna start glowing. Even black is gonna glow. So this kind of shows between the borders of what can and cannot glow. So I like to keep mine between 70 and 90. I'm gonna keep it at 77. And radius is how far this glow will travel. And so I'm gonna have it just a little bit like that. And intensity is how strong you want the glow to be. There we go, that looks nice. And that is about all I do to adjust my colors. See, it's already